All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Red Door on May 15th. We are here with the fabulous one and only Tammy Romage. You guys are going to be so blessed today. And I am recording only for the purposes of our select group. So if you are listening to the recording or if you're on today, just know that this is only for our select group. It is not to be passed on to others. Okay. If you got the recording, then you can definitely listen to it and watch it. But this is for a select group that earned it. So congratulations to all of our star team builders and above for being on this morning and earning the morning with our fabulous national sales director. So let me tell you a little bit about her. First of all, we have been friends for a very long time. And what you're going to hear and the heart that you're going to see is truly who she is. She's an amazing woman, not just in business, but she's such a great friend. She's an encourager. She lifts people up. She makes people better. She takes her experiences and she gives them back to other people so they can be better. And I love and appreciate her so much. And I'm so thankful that I can call her my friend. So let me tell you how amazing she is. If I can read it, I'm one of the that have crossed the bridge with the eyesight. Okay, so Tammy has been building her Mary Kay business for 22 years. She debuted as a sales director in 2000 and debuted as a national sales director in 2012. She has earned 11 career cars. 10 of them have been pink Cadillacs. She currently drives the beautiful Cadillac Escalade. Her unit's highest monthly retail is over 150,000, and her highest monthly commission check is $26,000 for 1 month. Oh my gosh, right? That's so awesome. I can't even wrap my brain around that. All right, Tammy has the elite distinction of earning over $2 million in commissions in her Mary Kay career. She's traveled around the world with Mary Kay, including places like the Mediterranean, Italy, France, Hawaii, Argentina, and China. Tammy's favorite quote is, "It doesn't have to take a lifetime to accomplish your dreams. It takes a vision and a decision to go for it." So true. So good. So she is number 7 and number 5 in company 2-time $1 million units. So congratulations, Tammy. I am so excited, and I'm going to send your pictures to my computer so I can screen share them if you need them.
Okay.
Okay, take it away.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I feel the incredible energy just kind of coming out of the screen this morning. So thank you so much, Jen. Oh my gosh, we have prayed together. We have laughed together. We have cried together. We've enjoyed life together. And when I think of you, Jen, I think of so many things. I think of a woman of faith is what comes across my mind, a woman of heart, a woman that just goes and gives to others without ever even considering anything coming back. And you are such a joy. And I think joy is like, if I think of a word, I always say I'm a collector of words, I'm a collector of people, and I'm a collector of moments. And joy, you are so joy-filled. And it passes on to others. So you spread joy to everybody else. So Jen, thank you so much. And I'm so excited to be with you. Okay, so we are today is May 15th. And I know a lot of you, well, first of all, congratulations for even being on this morning. What I want to help you do is detangle strategy. Some of you have huge goals before the end of the seminar year. And some of you are just running in huge goals still in this month of May. And I want to bring it in closer, but I want to help you untangle it. Do you ever feel like sometimes you've got all these things to do and they're floating everywhere and you just can't figure out which one to do first? And then sometimes it even makes you shut down a little bit, right? And then you have to go back and figure it out. Like, where's the critical inch? And is what I'm doing actually the critical inch, or is it creative avoidance? So I want to help you do that. Now, I also want to ask you, have you ever felt like you wake up and you're in the same place as you were last year? Like, I am in the same place doing the kind of the same things, and there's not been any like big, like huge movement or huge growth. I mean, I'm blessed for where I am, but I'm ready for a big change. Has anyone ever felt like that you've been in a set point? And you know what a set point is? A set point is when you return back to it. Because sometimes we'll get like, okay, because I mean, I'm only teaching on my experience, and Jen will probably relate to this. Like, I feel like I've moved ahead. So I'm like at this level right now, and I'm at this new set point, and I'm like, okay, and I'm doing this, and all this is going to happen. And then 6 months or a year later, I'm back exactly where I was prior to getting there, thinking that everything has changed now, and I've come back again. Has anyone ever done that? And you're like, I got to break that to set a brand new set point, okay? And that's what I'm going to coach you. And what I call it is a bubble strategy. It's a different bubble strategy you've probably ever heard of, but all things have to connect. And so I'm going to have you draw a few things out for me. But before we do that, I want you to know that every minute spent in planning, right? Even as much as 10 minutes will save you like hours of execution, okay? And so planning your day is so important for us as a strategist, because you can't be creative without doing that. And I like to strategize and mastermind and then be able to release it. And that's what we're going to talk about. Like, okay, we're going to map it all out. We're going to have it out. We're going to have it ready to go. And then now it's on that board, or now it's on that paper, and I can release it and then go to work, versus it being all up here and everywhere, okay? And becoming a distraction to you. So are you ready to fire up some goals? Who's ready? Who is like ready to take it to a whole new level? I mean, ladies, you're really a decision away of moving up into all the higher levels of consultant leadership and director leadership. It's a decision, like career cars right now. And I'm waiting on the delivery of my brand new Escalade. I am so excited. Like, you know, it never, ever gets old. And you just have to make decisions and choose that this is what you want. We are in the right place, the right time, the right opportunity, and the right opportunity to move forward in your leadership. And once you learn this, and I know I'm speaking to leaders, once you learn this, though, you can pass it on and leverage it as a coaching tool in the future to help others on your team be able to move forward. Because so there's multiple layers of listening to this. So for some of you, you might be listening with an ear of like, I've got to formulate my strategy right now and get going. Some of you are going to listen with a different ear that might be, but how can I then transfer this to somebody else and help them too? Do you see how multiple ways you can hear something? Okay, so I just wanted to put that out. But I also want to start by saying there's no perfect plan. Ladies, there's no perfect plan. But what we want to do is build your best plan, okay? The best one. And I'm sorry, my computer, my daughter always says, Mom, it's just RL, baby. It's just real life. It was warming up. And have you ever been like, I just want to get this done right now. I want to get on right now. And it's just slow and it feels like forever. Sometimes our goals are just like that too. Okay. And the last little thing I want to give you, because I mean, this is all intentional. Some of the little thought patterns that I'm giving you at the beginning. Okay. This is intentional. And this is totally random. But I was eating Chinese years ago, many years ago, and that's really random, right? And a fortune cookie changed my life, okay? A fortune cookie changed my life. And how it changed my life is on the fortune cookie it said, nothing could withstand the assault of overthinking. To me, that was really powerful, because you can rethink the same old things over and over and over and over and over, whether I'd be good at that, I move into this, if I go on target for a car and this doesn't happen and this will happen and this. Okay, has anyone been there? And you're like getting on your own nerves, seriously, like, okay, quit. But you're just assaulting and overthinking something that you don't even need to be overthinking. You just need to make a decision and go for it. And that could be at anywhere in your life. It could be for your health. It could be in your business. It could be anything. Stop overthinking and over assaulting it. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so here's the bubble strategy. The purpose is to release a set point and create a transformation for business growth. Now, transformation happens when we break through and understand our excuses and justification. You got to understand when you're justifying. Release and give grace for what we have not done. Tammy, I give you grace for what you haven't already done and said you were going to do and you haven't done it yet, but I give you grace. And gratitude and praise for what we have done. Because sometimes you have to go back and think about that, right? And the belief for what is to come. And I'm going to repeat that. Transformation happens when we break through and understand our excuses and our justifications, and we release and give grace for the things we haven't done, but we give gratitude and praise for the things we have done, and the belief and the feeling of gratitude for what is to come, okay? Because sometimes you realize that sometimes our perceived weaknesses become our greatest strengths because we work on them. Okay, so why a bubble strategy? And let me just show you this real quick. And Jen, you don't really need to pull anything up, because I want you to take a big blank sheet of paper, because part of this learning how to do this is, I think it's the mastermind, the writing, the putting it out instead of printing something out. Okay, so you're just going to need a sheet of paper. And what I want you to do is I want you to draw bubbles, okay? So you're going to draw a big bubble in the middle, and then you're going to draw a line and another bubble and a line and another bubble and a line and another bubble. And then some of these bubbles, there's lines here. It doesn't look like everything has to be connected. That's key. And then off of these bubbles, there's a lot of other little bubbles, but each one of these bubbles is going to have a value, but all lines are connected, okay? And I'm going to explain this in just a second, but this is the mastermind. So the beginning of your month, or in the mid-month, or last 2 days reevaluation of where you are to hit your goals, you may need to bubble it back out and re-strategize, right? Because your strategy can change throughout the entire month, sometimes day to day when you're going for something really big. But that's where it's exciting. Going for small things does not produce your greatest passion. And who loves great passion? Anyone like to feel like that? Okay, then you got to go for something big. Why the bubble strategy? Okay, here's the mission and the overview. The bubble strategy simply releases your creativity, and it positions you in a think tank of masterminding solutions and creating intuitive awareness. Okay, so that's what we're going to want to do. The second thing is it saves you time and it increases productivity. But here's the main tool. Okay, you ready for it? And everybody has it. Curiosity. You've got to become curious. You got to become curious about yourself. You got to become curious about your goals. You've got to learn the art of asking questions to yourself. Okay, and how often do you do that? Every single day. Okay, so we're going to create the solutions through the curiosity. And we're going to learn as we go, okay? But the last thing I want to tell you about this is that it's going to help you become a problem solver. Because what happens sometimes is at the end of the month, a consultant or a director, we have 2 parties booked. And this is going to take you over the edge to be like a double spark achiever, like to be on target for Princess Court, or to be on target for, as a director, for a top sales director trip. It could be anything. Okay. So, but you have these two parties that you're really depending on the last 2 days. And guess what? One of the hostesses gets sick and she canceled. And then the other one's family members all get sick and they cancel, or something happens, or they have to go somewhere. And what happens? The consultant doesn't reach her goal. Why? She didn't have enough things going on, enough bubbles to go above and beyond in order to reach the goal. When you're only depending on the few, if those few things pop as a bubble, then you have nothing else you can work with. But if you have multiple activities you're working with to assign and align the value of what you want, then you're still going to reach the goal. Now, for some of you, this might be like, as you're thinking through it, like, okay, wait, I'm not sure, I'm not following, I don't get it yet. Okay, just stay tuned. And the more you do it, and regardless if you use bubbles or not, that's okay. You can use all kinds of other, but hopefully if nothing else, I'm getting you to strategize this morning. Does that sound good? Okay. Okay, so it's going to help you assign value with your activity and intention of what you're doing. So this is what you have to have, a goal. Does everybody have a goal? Okay, and we can back this out from your seminar goal, and then of course you break it down like what I have to do in May, what I have to do in June, and then you come to May and you're like, okay, I'm already halfway in May. That doesn't mean I changed my goal, is I might just need to re-strategize my goal still for the month of May. And so whatever that is, now I'm going to give you a goal of when I celebrated my 21st anniversary, but now I call it 2021 Club. Okay, so for year 2021, but it's at least being $1,000 plus Spark Achiever. Okay, so I'm going to show you, but could you imagine if you and all of your team was part of that club or was $1,000 Spark Achiever? What if you and your 5 team members or your 4 team members, you'd be on target for a car, right? If they were all that. Yeah. I mean, okay. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. That's going to be my example, but you are going to put your goal in there. Okay. So in that center, I want you to write 2,100. Now, I'm just going to show you this real quick, but I'm going to, okay, that is a lot of masterminding, isn't it? You're not going to be able to see it close, but that's a lot of masterminding, but I'm going to walk you through some of this. Okay, because I'm going to teach you how to think about it. Okay, so you have to have a goal. The second thing, okay, so go ahead and write this down. Number 1, your goal. You can even write it beside it. DIQ, on target car. You can put 4,000 in sales, whatever that goal is. Number 2, multiple ways of reaching your goal, because we're going to overproject. That's always important. The third thing is an activity plan. So then we got to base it on activity to help you reach that goal. And the purpose of this is to create projections that don't depend on just one way of reaching that goal, but multiple ways. And I just described that. So multiplying your options to achieve your goal. And to me, I used to think about it before I put it into bubbles, spinning plates. I would always want as many plates spinning in the air, right? Because if a few of them would pop, I still had more spinning up in the air. So I constantly had lots to work with. And I didn't just work with only just a few different ways of growing and building my business. Okay, so let me, before I dig into that, okay, so where to start, and I'm going to go back through a few other things, and I've repeated these a little bit. So the very first thing is what your ultimate goal is. So to me, I've always based my goals on my financial needs. That's how I aligned my goals. Like, how much income would bless my life, bless my children. And I've been blessed in Mary Kay that I've been able to align it, from being a consultant and the amount of money that I wanted to earn to becoming a director, the amount of money I wanted to earn, and then realigning my goals to align with my family, paying for private school for my kids, college education. My youngest, I had 4 children, and they were all under the age of 7 when I started, 5 months, not quite 2, 4, and 7. So I built my business with babies, and now my youngest just graduated from college, and I'm a grandma to 2. And so my life has changed through the process of it, but my goals changed along the way too. So maybe reevaluate what your goals are based on your financial needs and what you'd really want, or how could those financial needs, maybe money-wise, bless somebody else. Like if I had this amount more, how many other women would I be blessing? But how could I give this to somebody else if that's not your goal, if you don't need it personally, okay? Here's number 2, ask yourself the correct questions. Okay, here's the curiosity. If I were to reach this goal, what should I do next? There's your question. If I were to reach this goal, do you see how you're aligning your brain? If I were to, you're becoming a problem solver. You're putting a business hat on and you're taking off the emotional hat. So if I were to reach this goal, what should I do next? Okay, I'm going to give you A, B, and C to this. A, mastermind, think tank. First with yourself, not with your director first. First with yourself. Make the splatter list. If I were to reach this goal, well, gosh, the lookbooks just landed in our customers' mailboxes with the 2 lip glosses. Like if I were to reach this goal, I would follow up with all my PCP. If I were to reach this goal, I would book 3 virtual parties before the end of the month or 5 virtual parties before the end of the month. If I were to reach this goal, I would think about what it would be. I'm going to do one-on-one facials. It's opening up that I'd be able to personally do that. If I were to reach this goal, what would it be? What is the activities that would align to help you do it? So once you've masterminded and did your bubble, then reach out to your director and tell her, like, this is what I've masterminded around to do it. And as a director, when I hear my consultants are doing that, wow, sometimes I am able to add more insights, and sometimes their creativity, I'm learning from it too, and we're better together. But you want to do it yourself, because what you understand yourself instead of somebody, go do this, go do this, go do this. But if you're saying, this is what I need to do, this is how you learn to become your own strategist. If somebody always gives you the strategy, how do you learn to be the strategist for yourself? So you need both, okay? So mastermind, a splatter list. B is assign value. When we're working in your bubbles, you work on the activities with the highest value first. If you were calling, say one of your bubbles is your PCP customer reorders, okay? Let's say that. And you're assigning like $800 to that. And you've got Sue that reorders the repair set plus like supplements. So are you going to call the person that reorders $10 first? And I'm not saying you don't love everybody equally, but you're a businesswoman. So you're going to call your customers and assign with a business hat the highest value, and you work on them first and then with everybody else, okay? So, because if the month ends and something happens in your life, has life happened to you guys? Listen, life has happened to me. And you're down and you were going to call those key people, you've still been having them on the list. You're just knocking out all the little ones, the easier ones. But now you don't have time to call those key people. Because you didn't do it first. Okay. And then C is tracking is the key. I'm going to teach you how tallying values and subtract it as you go will help you hit it faster. Anytime I have or a consultant in my unit would put up a dry erase board and like get their kids involved and like 2,000, I just sold 100, 1,900 to go. I just sold 20 and blah, 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 blah. Your mind goes to tally it and take it away and you can get excited about it. Every little sell you're celebrating, right? So tallying is really, really great strategy. Okay, the third thing is project over your goal. Again, if one bubble pops, it's okay. Hostesses postpone, those kind of things happening, but you're projecting those bubbles. And so, it's about add, mastering, polishing. That's what we do in our business. We add new skills. We start to master those new skills. We add some more and we go back and polish those skills at the same time. Okay, so let me just jump into the bubbles because we just have a few more minutes. Okay, so now that I've created like a way of thinking, now we're going to mastermind some things, okay? So on that big sheet of paper that you have 2,100 in the middle. Now I'm going to kind of give you an idea of this, but then I want you to go back as homework and bubble out your own, okay? This can make a huge impact on your business. Okay, so in the center, we're going to put 2,100. Let's just say in the next 2 weeks, you want to sell $2,100. Okay, and then you're gonna get, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let me just, because it always distracts me, like on my desk. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't it gorgeous? It's like the bar, and this is the necklace. Have you guys all seen it? I mean, it is absolutely, you can wear it really dressed up. I've had it on with my national suit, but I've also wear it really casual with jeans. It is so cute. And this is the necklace for Embrace the Golden Rule. Right? Okay, so I want to show you that. Okay, well, with $2,100 in sales, ladies, you're going to be beyond, right? You're going to be $1,000 plus whatever else you've already done. Okay, so if we were to sell $2,100, how would we do it? Well, let's say on one of your bubbles, I want you to write PCP customer reorder. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you set a goal for your customer reorders? Or you just get what you get? You just get what you get? Or do you say, my goal is $1,000 this month in my customer reorders? And then do you go to like build a strategy around that? Or do you just kind of guess in what's going to come in there? Okay, let's project. Our goal is 800. Okay, so in the PCP customer reorder, I wrote, and you see how scratched up this is? That's why I love this so much. I could just do a printed really pretty one for you, but it doesn't ever look pretty when I'm doing this strategy. Okay? I have a work office, not a show office. Here we go. This is, see it says PCP and 800. Okay, do you see where I'm writing it? Okay, so my goal is at least 800 in my PCP. So now around that bubble, I have little mini bubbles going around it. And one of the bubbles says, like Mary, 200, because she normally does 200. One of the bubbles say Cindy, 200, because she's a repair customer too. One of the bubbles say like 100, you know, for Sue. You know, one of the bubbles say 50 for Sally. One of the bubbles say 50. Anyway, I'm going through and I'm strategizing my customers that normally place orders. What are their average orders all around this bubble, okay? So I'm only working in one of my bubbles, but out of this bubble, out of the 2,100, 800 of the sales is coming from it. Okay, so by the time that I filled out all those bubbles and I add them all up, actually, I've got over $1,000 because Cindy, that was going to do a 200, decided that this month she can't place that order. But because I had other customers, right, that I was working to hit my $800 goal, I'm still going to reach it, but I'm actually over projecting 1,000. Because then if I fall short, I'm still going to hit 800. What did Mary Kay always say? If you shoot for the stars, right, you're going to land on the moon. So I always got to shoot over. Okay, did that make sense to everybody? Was there any insights from me just explaining one bubble? Okay, and then let's say one of those bubbles could be like, you know what? My goal is to have 5 new repair customers this month. Maybe that's a strategy. And so you could put a bubble and say new repair customers. And you might not even know who they are, but you could do 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, you know what I mean? And there's 1,000. Maybe it's facials, or maybe it's virtual parties. Like, so anyway, just to save time. So if it's, maybe you're going to have your own personal. So every time you follow up with your PCP customers, you're going to ask them all automatically to be on a virtual party with you as you're following up with them, and ask them bring 1 or 2 friends that you'll have a special gift for them for doing it. And so in that bubble, then you're going to be writing like who you're inviting, right? And you can mastermind around that bubble. But what you also want to do as you're calculating these bubbles is tally. So at the top, and this is in my masterminding process. So at 2,100, if I subtract 800 from my PCP, that leaves me with 1,300. If I do like a home, like a virtual party of myself, and I'm thinking my average is about, you know, my goal is 400 for that virtual party. And so if I subtract that off the 1,300, that leaves me 900. Maybe with the lip glosses, you are going to do have customers that sell 10 for you and they get 1 for free. And I have, Jen, I have a little thing that I made for that. So there's a lot of women that are still working in the office, but what a great way to get referrals at the same time. So I always think what I do multiplies and pays me over and over and over. And so maybe you're going to do that and you're going to have 3 people sell, 10. I mean, there's so many different ways to be creative, and you guys all know different creative ways. I don't want to take away from just, flooding you with ideas. But let's say that book show was 200. So 900 minus 200, 700. You did a few, I don't know if you guys are open enough to do facials from a distance or people with family and friends. Okay. So maybe that was 225. That leaves you with 475. You did an office party at 200, but basically, that $2,100, you're actually going to end up selling more like $2,500 actually, because you over projected for every bubble. Okay, so every bubble you are going to assign, again, you're just going to mastermind what you want. If I were to reach this big goal, what am I going to need to do that goal? And then plan it out. And then you can work within each bubble to assign goals to that bubble. So if you were going to have a party, instead of just getting what you get, so this party is going to be a $300 party. So if I were to have a $300 party, what would I need to do first? How many people would need to show up for this because of my averages? What should my average sell be? What am I bundling and what am I offering in order to receive that? How am I following up with it? Do you see how you could take just that one bubble and then take it to a whole nother level? Okay. So Jen, and, if your goal is DIQ, the same thing. Any kind of strategy, if you sit down, map out where you want to be, assign values, and then in your bubbles, which bubble has the highest value? So you're not going to work on the bubble, the $200 bubble, right? You're going to work on it, but you're going to work on the $800 bubble first. Okay. But that 200 could bring new leads. So you're still working through it, but once you get it out there, then you can release it and then just go and do the activity to make that work as well. Okay, so I'm going to just close and Jen, if you do have any questions, I know it's a lot, but what I wanted to do today is help you personally untangle maybe a little strategy that is in your heart and in your mind. Put it out on paper, tally it out, get passionate about what your goals are right now, learn what your best strategy might look like, and then go and work on it. And started at the beginning, and God has given me, and I've been so blessed. So many things he said to me over the years. And just prior to doing Million, God said, Tammy, when you think small, you think about yourself. Because I can be a very content, joyful person. But when you think big is when you're going out to serve others. Because you don't know whose dream could be tied to yours. And you don't know whose dream could be tied to each and every one of you. So congratulations on all of your success. It is such an honor to be on with you this Saturday morning. I said, I'm suited up, Jen. I said, do you want me to be in my national suit or you want me to be in my, I'm suited up to train this morning. So thank you guys so much. I love seeing your beautiful faces and your beautiful smiles. It just warms my heart. And thank you, Jen. I absolutely adore you. You know that.
Oh, thank you so much, Tammy. Do you have 5 minutes we can offer people to open up and ask questions?
Absolutely. Because I know it can be confusing when you first hear.
Yeah, no, I could not write fast enough. I'm so excited that I recorded it for myself. Because I'll tell you, for me, I get to going on a goal and I start shutting down when I get too many things going. And I feel like this could really help my brain compartmentalize those different areas. So I love that because that's one thing that does shut me down. So I think this is brilliant. I'm really excited about it. And just feel your passion in it. And I saw you go from, top director to national, and so your story is amazing and inspiring. So thank you for that. But I do want to open it up if anybody has questions that they would like to ask.
And I was going to tell you, Jen, too, I do have a YouTube that probably explains it a little bit better on the bubble strategy that I can send over to you as well. Instead of me trying to rush through bits and pieces of it, it actually goes through it. So that way you can watch it again, but watch it in actually on my board. watch me write it and see it. So I will send that to you.
Okay, I'm gonna put my phone number here for those that aren't in my unit. And if you want the video, if you'll text me, when I get it up on YouTube and get hers, I'll send that to you. Anybody have a question? Fawn, did you have your hand raised?
Yes, thank you so much, Tammy. I'm like Jen. I get a goal and I got so many of those plates up in the air and they're all crashing down around me because I get paralyzed by it. So I really am excited about it. I really can see putting this into practice and I appreciate it so much, Tammy. And I know it's a mess, but can we get a copy or somehow a picture of the one that you've done just as an example for us?
Absolutely. Yes. And I may have sent one or a similar one because I've done so many bubbles like for DIQs and bubbles for this. And so absolutely, we'll send that out as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
The video goes through it like individually, like how to think about booking, how to think about, all the different more so.
Perfect. Yeah. I can't wait for the YouTube. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Rhonda, jump in.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate your time so much, Tammy. So when I brainstorm, it has a tendency I lose pieces of it. And so I can see how this is going to bring it all together and make it more centralized. And I'm going to be able to organize it way better than just a brainstorm all over my pages. So thank you so much for just this. This is really the way I think. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And remember, all lines have to be connected. And if you're doing something that does not connect to that goal, don't do it. Right? Yeah. All lines always have to be connected. That's the key. So, yes. And there's Phyllis. Yeah.
So then.
Thank you, Tammy. I just wanted to repeat what Rhonda said. It's, I get to thinking and I have everything figured out what I want to do, but then I focus on one instead of all of those things. So by mapping it out like this, I think that will just be so beneficial. And I can't wait to share it with my director because I think everybody could use this.
Yeah. And if you are looking at it and you're thinking, gosh, I'm working in so many areas, again, just work in the ones that have the highest value first. Right? Or in your bubble with the highest value in your bubble. It's like calling your customers. Who do you call first? Align it in that, with your values. Thank you.
Hi, Tammy. How do you choose which goal goes in the middle, or do you have multiple ones going at the same time? Do you have multiple pages going at the same time?
Oh, no. The goal in the middle is your ultimate goal. So, but it could be your ultimate goal for you could strategize a goal for seminar, but you could also do the ultimate goal next 2 weeks. So what do I want to do in these next 2 weeks? Ultimately, I set my goal to sell this, but this is where I am. So what do I want to do by June 1st? And that could be a sales goal and you put it in the center, or it could be a recruiting goal and you put it in the center. So if I were to, but then you can also match it with it because every customer I'm going to talk to about the opportunity. Every facial I'm going to talk to you about the opportunity. Then you work really full circle. But you can, it can be for a map out for a huge seminar goal. Like if I were to, as a director, if I were to, reach a certain level, then like in stars and in diva, and divas and, you can do it that way. And also with your team. You can map out, there's all different ways to map it out. So and the piece of it is just, it's a place for you to mastermind and to be creative yourself because you know what you love to do. And everybody's customer base is unique and different. Like everybody's unit is unique and different. And, this is yours. Like you get to develop and take to another level. Then you could even have goals of like each customer, my goal for her is taking her to a new level of using more product deep and wide. So I would go with right now, what is the goal you want right now? Like right now, that's going to fit into your end of year goal. And what is it going to be like just May? I'm just May. It's only just May. And I'm going to crush it in May. And then I'm going to crush it again. Then I'm going to realign where my whole goal is. and whatever I have to do in June, and then I'm going to crush it in June. And it could be a last 3 days goal. If I were to still sell $1,000 in 3 days, what would I do first? Who would I call? Who haven't I called? Do you see what I mean? You could then even, if you need to reevaluate yourself, just go back into that think tank of, if I were to, because doesn't it put a different hat on? Instead of like, I don't know how this is going to happen, because then you become a solution finder. That's what you're doing. I'm a solution finder.
And I like that you said that you could re-strategize or do your bubbles again if things aren't happening with the one strategy. You can redo the bubbles again and re-strategize, because how many times do we need to do that, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we just give up. We're like,
you have to be
forget it.
adaptable.
Yeah.
You have to adapt. And in our business, we adapt all the time because there's things that change, and it's so fluid sometimes and so fast, especially virtually, that we have to adapt and we have to kind of change it. And then we don't put a business emotional hat and say, oh, it's not going to happen because. No, we're like, well, we got all these other bubbles to work on.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Any other affirmations for Tammy, or appreciations or questions?
Tammy, I really appreciate seeing something from a different perspective. I do a lot of strategizing, a lot of planning, but seeing from a different perspective opens my eyes to a whole nother angle. And so I really appreciate the bubbles. Thank you.
Thank you. That, you know, that was the same with me. As like when I started to think about how am I aligning all this and making this work? You know, and people are like, well, how are you doing that? And I think, oh, I got to sit down and think about how I'm really doing this. And then, you know, and it's just sometimes we just put a new spin on something. It creates what we already know, because you already know what to do. Just, you know, it just makes it all new again. Thank you.
Awesome. Tammy, can't thank you enough for your time and your energy and your wisdom. Oh my goodness, like mind blown today. So thank you. And if you'll send me your address, I would really appreciate that. And yeah, you guys, we have Linda Tupin coming in just a couple of weeks. So be sure you ramp up for that. I know it's going to be awesome, and it's in person at the DoubleTree. So super excited about that. Again, congratulations to all of our winners, and you guys make May your biggest month yet. Oh my goodness, we still have lots of time. 2 weeks, we're only halfway through the month. So you got lots of time. So let's go do it. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
you.
Mwah. See ya.